Love. And today I am inspired to talk about taking action when you're feeling low. And I think a lot of us can probably relate to just feeling low and feeling borderline depressed, not wanting to do anything, just wanting to kind of stay in bed. And as I say those words, this stuff is always about discernment and really listening to what the self is asking. And there is absolutely nothing wrong with having days of rest and enjoying being able to luxuriate and permission ourselves to have rest days and duvet days and days where we do nothing. And to be honest, that's something that's slowly but surely getting easier. And yet what I've experienced is this last transition phase. So for me there were some pretty high level manifestations experienced at the March equinox. And it was like after that, so we do always ebb and flow, but recognize that we're technically always ebbing and flowing on the rise. So we really are always expanding and moving kind of upward, unless we choose something else, unless we're still really attached to kind of lower frequency level creation. So if that's on a soul level or conscious level, we can choose that existence, and it's simply what we're ready for, how we're ready to experience our own evolution. However, if we are choosing that path of ease, greater love, and greater abundance, you know that you're always rising. You're always, in essence, rising yourself up to more awareness, to greater love, to greater abundance. And yet we can still, so I was just saying that we can manifest these kind of pretty epic, in this one moment we can manifest like a perfect divine relationship and money and creativity and joy and connection. And then in essence we will then test ourselves, or we will go through a purification process. So we kind of reach that height, and then for the ensuing phase, so that lasting cycle will come to completion by facing or letting everything that doesn't align with that, rise to the surface of our own experience. And so it's likely that we can experience a lot of our old patterns. It's likely that we can experience separation from that divine relationship. It's and a lot of unknown and a lot of lifelong old trigger patterns around abandonment and rejection and not being enough and not being deserving. So we will kind of go around a circle to face all of that. And this is really about, when we're experiencing that kind of high level awesome manifestation, and then we dip back into something less desirable, and we're like, oh no, I'm a failure, what have I done, and like, how have I come off my stride so bad, or why am I having to face all this junk again? And it really is a testament to our ability to love it all, to just keep loving. It's just a wave, we're gonna ride it out. And yet sometimes it can feel like a really long time. And that's really what this post is about, is when you're consciously on a spiritual journey and you're consciously on an ascension path. I have something in my eye. When you know you're endeavoring that consciously, everything will start to morph. Everything that you engage with, everything that you're doing, everything will sort of like take on this new world, this new meaning. And it's wonderful. And so this post is just about, yesterday, so I've basically been writing out like my whole life of suffering patterns, my whole life of pain, rejection, self-loathing, undeserving, unworthy. It's like day in, day out, just like, and this is basically since the summer solstice. So, seeding high level manifestation at the equinox, and then like bumbling into this recognition phase, or this dissolving phase, or purging or cleansing phase, where everything that is not that is coming up. So the solstice now is like illuminating for my own recognition, illuminating everything that was not that creative channel, and that creative love, and that divine connections, and that high level manifestation creativity. Like, so everything that's not that now is like being turned around from within my own conscious awareness, and it's to the point of like freaking out and thinking like, oh my God, like how is this man come back again? And then sort of grounding deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper into like, what is this? How to discern, how to work with this energy, how to be present with this energy. And it took probably about like a week to 2 weeks just to start resting into it. And then to start loving it, but very deeply, like a love that I almost forgot was established over the last year. And so dropping into this like very deep sense of unconditional love for self, and then dealing with the waves, and dealing with the storms, and just like sitting with and processing these like deep core wounds of separation and unworthy and undeserving. And then more recently, and really the inspiration for this post was like having this, and I suffered depression really throughout my teens, and like suicidal, and like backed with anorexia and bulimia, and then pretty severe depression to the point of like nearly flunking out of school, again, like suicide attempts, and really not wanting to be here. And so I'm basically facing that. I'm like facing that energy of just like hating on myself and hating on life, and really questioning like, is this worth it? And do I want to be here? And falling into like old patterns, and then but like consciously doing it. So like seeing myself as I'm acting out and doing things that I thought I was over, that I thought I'd overcome, or I thought I'd risen above. And so I'm still like facing those aspects of self, feeling the ick factor, feeling the ugliness of it, and the distortion and the pain of it, and all that kind of stuff. And so this was like, just yesterday it was just like sitting with all of it, and like questioning my own validity, and questioning my own deservingness and whatnot. And this is a really simple thing, right? Feeling really low. And I was looking at a friend's garden, and they'd gone out, they'd gone to the gym. So it was just me like left alone in my own kind of wallowing despair. And the garden was kind of messy, and there's like these two parts of me just being like, who cares? Like, I don't want to do anything. It wouldn't matter. Like, I blah, blah, blah. Or I could sweep. I could be of service. I could take action. Even if I'm feeling poo. Even if I'm feeling like I just want to crawl into a hole and do nothing, I can help out by trimming some of their bushes, and trimming some of their weeds, and sweeping, and just kind of cleaning up the space a little bit. And something as simple as that. So and I think, okay, so if you're like me, and you have a pretty big vision, and you have pretty broad like global dreams and stuff, as far as the kind of changes that you're desiring to see in your own life and the world around you, then like, I think we can often, when we get into that despair, we can often always equate action. It's like taking action, take inspired action. It has to be inspired or whatever. And like, and that taking action should always be in this, like, in a business sense, or taking action, taking action has to be this, like, this massive, big, inspired thing. And yesterday, and then leading into today's share, I realized, like, taking action can be just the smallest thing to us. That taking action doesn't have to be this massive, inspirational, big thing. Sometimes when we're feeling pretty shitty, taking action could just be turning on, the water for our bath. Or taking action could just be scrubbing the bath. And taking action, like I did yesterday, could be just sweeping a friend's porch. Taking action, for, like, today, again, still in this ebb, you could say, rather than being in the flow and feeling ever so juicy, being in this rather extended ebb, it's like every single day is just like the little things. Okay, I'm not traveling around the world, and I'm not necessarily living this exciting, expansive life that I think that I should be. And I'm feeling this kind of gap between that. But then, even in this reflection on the old me and in the old vibrations, how can I take action in a way that just lifts me out? How can I take action that helps me just be in the present moment? And action could be just cleaning the dishes. So much of this spiritual stuff is just simple, ordinary, our ability to just be in the present moment and do, like, normal shit. It's not this grand, glamorous, again, it's like we've transitioned now with social media, is that we can so easily put our entitlement or put our, like, idol worship onto other people and think that our lives are insignificant because of how other people appear to be living their lives. And that, again, it's all an illusion, and that's all a distortion of our own lack of worth, thinking that other people are living these high vibrational lives and that we're just these pieces of shit. And yet, actually, part of living that perceived high vibrational life, part of actually experiencing that kind of life is our ability to be present and grateful for normalcy, or for, not normalcy in that way, that's the wrong word, more ordinary. So my ability to be present and enjoy with washing up, with helping a friend do laundry, with helping someone sweep up their garden because they're busy and they're not really finding the time to do that. Like, how directly and in the present moment can we just be of service to where we are, not where we think we're meant to be, not where we deem acceptable, not where we deem is worthy, but where we are here now. And so often, those little action steps have a knock-on effect. We don't realize them in the moment because of our state of being, we still might be thinking it's kind of shit, or it's not worthy, or who cares about this. And yet it really is the day-to-day simple stuff that rises us into greater feelings and sort of propels us forward to be able to create and cultivate, manifest, harness, whatever word you want to use, those greater experiences that do indeed take us into the bliss and ecstasy. And as I say that, I wonder what's beyond the bliss and ecstasy in this form. What will happen in our bodies when we continue to be able to vibrate at those levels in a consistent pathway? And that has to do with our manifestation pulling power and our creatorship as divine beings. So, take action. And it's the simple things. Do some washing up. Go for a really peaceful walk. It doesn't have to be this big inspirational thing. It doesn't have to always be money earning oriented. It doesn't have to be, so self-oriented either. It can just be as simple as cleaning a friend's backyard. It can be as simple as, going to a friend and having a cup of coffee with them. it's our ability, again, it's our ability to just be grateful and honor and be in the present moment with this sense of joy, with the simplest and most ordinary of actions and things and situations, that helps us align to that yoke of love and that yoke of presence, and that ultimately leads us to accessing what we might deem greater, more blissful, divine experiences. But so long as we're chasing an experience outside of ourselves, seeking our self-worth in the experience rather than living our self-worth through the simplicity and ordinariness of life, then we continue to elude ourselves. We continue to escape our ability to have those experiences. Just like having the experience right now, not knowing where this vlog will go, just showing up to share it, and then feeling this sense of flow and alignment from within the action of just pressing record. And that's the beauty of our technology and our ability to broadcast and signal and receive and transmit and all that kind of stuff in a really simple and ordinary way. And more people doing this means more and more joyful, peaceful, harmonious human beings living in their essence, and then more people breaking free and living that truth, which then just creates a more abundant and truthful planet for everybody. I hope that was useful to you. Have an awesome day, and I'll speak to you guys